Hello everyone, welcome to Chess Endgame Studies. Today we are learning basic king and pawn endgames. First, we should know the term opposition. It is the quest for the domination between two kings is called the opposition. This position shows direct and basic opposition between the kings. Three squares in between them are the key squares. Whoever turns to move from the opposition is usually a losing side because you give up the control of one of the key squares among these three. So opponent now can penetrate into your territory. Let's learn about different type of opposition. This is the basic opposition, and this is when the kings are facing each other with only one square separating between them, and the key squares are c4, d4 and e4 here. Let's understand the distant opposition. Person to move with have an even number of the square between the kings. Then he does have a distant opposition. Here white to move and the squares between the white king and the black king are 6. So now white can move to d2, and this is the distant opposition. This position shows the immediate diagonal opposition. This position shows the distant diagonal opposition. Another form of opposition is called the opposition without the direct connect. Earlier type of opposition which we have seen, they have the connect of the rank, file or diagonal between the both the kings. But if there is no such connection, then the rule of the square or rectangle in which each corner is the same color comes with the opposite person to move. So here white king is on a1, black king is on e8 and king a2 makes the opposition without the direct connection. Let's see. This is the opposition without the direct connection. Now if king moves to king f8, then king b2 again gaining the opposition. Here king on b2 and king on f8. So it is a opposition. Now king e8 and king c2. This is king e8 and king c2. Now if king moves to f8, then king d2. Now king moves to g8, then white king moves to king e2. King g8, king e2. Now king h8, then king f2. King h8, then king f2. Now if black king moves forward, then white king also moves forward. King h7, then king f3. Here king h7, then king f3. Now king h8, then king f4. King h8, king f4. King h7, king f5. This gives the diagonal opposition. If king moves to g7, then king g5, and if king moves to g8, then king g6. Both give direct opposition. Let's learn this position. White king is on d3, white pawn is on d4, and black king is on d5. Here white is up a pawn and having an opposition, but this is a draw by the following moves. King c3, king d6, king c4, king c6, d5 check, king d6, king d4, king d7, king c5, king c7, d6 check, king d7, king d5, king d8, king c6, king c8, d7 check, king d8 and king d6. This is a draw by stalemate. So if white wants to win this game, then white king should be in front of the white pawn and having the opposition with the black king to move. It should be like this. When white pawn on d2, white king on d3 and black king on d5, and it's a black's turns to move. So this is winning for white. The rook pawns are more difficult to win. Let's see an example. Here white pawn on h6, white king on g6 and black king on h8. Now if white wants to win, he wants to push his pawn to h7. But as soon as he pushes the pawn to h7, the black king is in the stalemate and it is a draw. Let's see an example of non-rook pawn. Here white pawn on g6, white king on f6 and black king on g8. If it is a white to move, then g7 wins for white. Next move, black king has to move to side on h7 and allow white king to take f7 square to promote the pawn on the next move. So this is winning for white. But if the same position occurs with the h pawn or the rook pawn, then it is a draw. In the king and pawn endgames, these rules matters to answer the question that what wins the endgame. First is stronger sides the king one or two squares in front of its pawn or not. Who takes the opposition? And is it the rook pawn? And if it is a rook pawn, then even white king is in front of the pawn and having the opposition like this, but it is a draw. Here white king is on h6, white pawn is on h2, black king is on h8. Now let's see h4. King g8, king g6, king h8, h5, king g8, h6, king h8 and h7. It is a stalemate. So this is in short about the opposition and the basic king and pawn endgame rules. Thank you for watching.